very blessed to have such a young, dynamic and a very positive guru and a teacher and somebody who can help us find the purpose why we all are here. Not in this hall, but the purpose why we are here in the world, on earth. I welcome you once again. Thank you so much for honoring this occasion. And I'm sure that the third day of the confluence would now be so complete and so beautiful because of your lovely presence.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words and thank you very much for your welcome. I'm really honored to be here in Goenka.
Disappointments, of course, we have to have a very strong heart to deal with them. We are dealing with young children, the young generation, the youth, but it comes with major challenges.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us, guide us, how we guide the youth of our nation?
First of all, we have to remove all those sources of misdirection, the wrong guidance which is coming to the youths. Actually, youths are innocent. They are blank. What we put in their hard disk, that depends on us. And currently nowadays, on the name of being modern, being cool, being 21st century people, and that phase we are hedonistic, we are agnostics, we are non-believers, and that's the way we are. That's so cool now. This kind of narrative, this kind of wrong value system which has been installed in them, that's the problem. So firstly, we have to remove that which is negative. Only in one place negative is positive, where we have to develop photographs, negatives. But otherwise negatives are negatives. So firstly, we have to remove all of these sources of distraction or dissolution, getting them completely absorbed in the material world or materialistic way of life. Firstly, we have to remove them. Very important part which is missing nowadays in education system especially is values. Hardly any kind of values are being given. What values? Okay, be a good boy, be a good girl, don't harm others, be truthful. Okay, beta? That's so hollow and shallow. That's so dry. So that's why this kind of morality cannot really stand. So genuine spirituality breeds genuine morality. And because we are not exposing the youth to spirituality and we are keeping spirituality for the fag end of life, when we are retired, jab muh mein dant nahi, pet mein hath nahi, now I am toothless and my intestines are now messed up and now I can go for spirituality. Well, then nothing happens. At that time, you only can have vitamin D from sunlight and have some oranges sitting underneath sunlight. Nothing more than that. So when to become spiritual? Now. And because we are behooving the students, the youngsters to become spiritual now, that's why they are getting misdirected. Because ultimately everyone is seeking some taste. If we do not give them genuine, pure, sanctifying, uplifting, soul enriching taste, so they would have some taste. So media gives them the taste. So yeah, we have got taste. These people are not giving the higher taste. Nah? We have got low class, first class taste. Come, we will give you that. And then we see that nowadays the youth are getting misdirected. But when we give them genuine taste, I'm just giving one example. I was in Ramjas College and I was having some Q&A session with youngsters and around 500 youths they were sitting. And it was the day of 2020 match between India and South Africa. 2020 match, India-South Africa. Youngsters should not miss at all. But that day, from 12 noon till 3 p.m., 3 hours, these youngsters leaving India-South Africa 2020 match was sitting and asking questions. At the end, even MC had to come. Okay guys, I think we are done. We have just way past our limit of time limit, so we are closing now. And still 20 youngsters they were waiting to ask questions. So that means they are ready for spirituality. It is just that we are not giving them thinking that maybe this is not the right time. This is the right time. Before we get onto the battlefield, we must wear armor, right? Without armor, if I wear United Colors of Benetton and I just got into the field, I would be pierced by arrows. And that's what's happening to the youngsters nowadays. We are just giving them t-shirts and they go now fight in the battlefield of the material world. And then they get pierced by negativity, anger, frustration, egotism, exploitation, lust, envy. All of these arrows pierce their hearts because they are not wearing the armor of genuine, pure spirituality, although they are ready for that. And when I say spirituality, it doesn't mean becoming bald-headed, saffron-clothed person. It doesn't mean that. We can be deeply spiritual wherever we are, but we have to give them this culture of spirituality, and that's our USP. What's the unique selling proposition of India? It's spirituality. People don't come to India to learn technology. People don't come to India to learn fashion. people come to India to learn spirituality. But now we see people go to Rishikesh. Why? For some spiritual experiences? No. Now we go for trekking. Now we go for rock climbing. Now we got beer cans, cooled in Ganges. And then Har Har Gange. Duk 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 duk. Wow. Such deep spirituality we are practicing nowadays. So this is because we fell from our spiritual epitome, apex, glorious position. And that's why we see India has seen fall in all the aspects of life. So youths are to be exposed to this genuine spiritual culture. They should be encouraged to ask questions. As I just told you, 3 hours of Q&A session, that means they are ready. They have questions. But nobody entertains their questions. Hey, Shraddha rakho, have faith. So yes, we are ready to have faith. But faith is like the sun. The sun is covered by the clouds of doubts. Well, once the clouds are dissipated, then the sun shines to its full glory. So the faith would shine to its full glory when all the doubts are taken care of. In a genuine way, in a scientific way, in a bona fide way, in a spiritual way. Then we will see that yes, youth will come. And I see youths are coming. They are coming to spirituality big time. Big time. Nowadays the wave of spirituality is so big, and I'm so happy to see this in the youngsters. But youngsters, they need 2 things to come to spirituality and become very stable in their character. One is that they need good role models. They have role models, but from Bollywood. Girls, Ranbir Kapoor, Brandon Fraser, Tom Cruise. Good. Boys, they're having Katrina Kaif, Julia Roberts. These are our role models. Okay, all respect for them. But they also need spiritual role models. So then they pursue spirituality. Okay, is there any hero? Is there any hero, any example which we can follow? Yes, now we have. So then youngsters, they follow the path of spirituality. Second, they need all of their questions to be answered. Once we do these 2 things, youngsters will come to spirituality for sure. We should not say, well, they are careless, these youngsters, careless. No, they are cared less. We should care for them. That's important actually. Like they're saying, I don't care how much you know, till the time I know how much you care. They need to be cared. And then youngsters will come. We think that, well, there is so much passion in the environment, in the atmosphere. They may not come. Yes, there is passion. But compassion can beat this passion. So who has the compassion? Compassion is nothing but the outcome of love which we have for God. More there is love for God, that gets reflected as compassion for everyone. And this compassion can diffuse the passion. And then they would come to their original, spiritual, sublime, heart-purifying, divine culture of bhakti, of devotion. Why not? And it is happening. It's happening. It is just that we need more and more such soldiers, educators to focus on this aspect of life.
Very rightly said. So along with what we are doing in school, generating a sense of spiritualism is very, very important. And even the National Education Policy talks about igniting the sense of pride in our youth for the Indian tradition, culture, the rich heritage that we possess.
Absolutely.
And that is very, very important. Through our ways and teachings, we can do that. Now, if I talk about children who are with us, we see a lot of anger issues. We see depression. We see anxiety. We see peer pressure. And there have been episodes of post-traumatic stress disorders even in children as young as 10 years old. How can we lead him to a good, valued system?
Sometimes this happens that the bunch of crows, they attack the eagle or the vulture. So in such a case, what does the vulture or eagle do? Does vulture or eagle fight back? No. The vulture or eagle flies to the new heights where crows do not fly. In this way, he transcends himself beyond the range of the crows. Right? So similarly, not all the problems in life will have solution. Sometimes we are seeking solution to all the problems, but sometimes the solution is to just transcend it. So the eagle or vulture just transcends it, flies to the new heights where the crows do not fly. Similarly, the crows of negativity, anger, depression, chaotic thinking, they attack us. But the way to deal with that is to raise our consciousness. When the consciousness is raised, problems are there, but they do not disturb us because the consciousness is raised. Mostly the problem in life is happening. Why? Because the consciousness is so low class. That's why problems appear to be big. That's why we are in Gurugram, so there are many skyscraper buildings. So somebody may go to Cyber City and would say that, oh, well, so many skyscraper buildings. Arey, badi unchi buildings hai. But in case you are flying in a plane, airport is nearby, and you see same buildings, they're like matchboxes. So did the height of the building reduce? No. But our altitude increased, so that's why they appear to be small. Similarly, when the altitude of our consciousness is raised, problems would still be there. But they appear to be so insignificant. Even a spiritualist can also fall sick. Even a spiritualist can also have COVID. And we also got COVID, many of the devotees. Of course, by God's grace, I was protected. But many of the devotees they also got COVID. But they are okay. They are back to normal. So that's why problems would always be there. But what are we doing when we are not in problem? The stress would always be there. What are we doing when we are not in stress? At that time, just masti, we are having fun. Yay! Oh, champagne! Woo! And when there comes stress, how to now manage stress? So when you are not in stress, what were you doing? You were having party. I'm not against parties. What I'm saying is that when we are just absorbed in just having fun, enjoying life, but we do not work on our own selves. Then when there comes the stress, then we get into Alprex, Raat ko neend nahi aati, sleepless nights, give me pills. Then this comes. So that's why we have to prepare ourselves for stress when we are not in stress. We have to prepare ourselves when we are not having any negativity. At that time, what we are doing? We do nothing actually. So that's why we have to have this spiritual genuine culture. And for that, some discipline is required. Now, before the discipline and practices come, there has to be association. Sangati. Association is something which can make us, and association is something which can break us. It's all about association. Our desires come from association. And there are people who come from simple backgrounds. When they come to cities, they drink milk morning and evening. They have a glass of milk. But when they come to cities and they meet some of the taporis in the cities, they say, "Hey, you drink milk? Hey, bacha, drink something else. You are a spirit. Drink spirit." So when this kind of value education, this kind of values are there in the education, is downloaded, and then in this way desires change. He was not having desires when he came, such desires when he came to this place, when he came to cities. So you see, actually desires come from association. So even good desires come from association. So in case we want to reform ourselves, we have to take association. It's all about association. A water droplet falls in the mud, it becomes mud. A water droplet falls on the lotus leaf, it becomes dew. If it falls in oyster, it becomes pearl. It's all about association. So we all are seeking good association. When there is no supply of good association, then there is no upliftment, and then we are facing these issues and depression, and anxiety, and anger, and all of this happens. But once we come in holy association, then we change. A classic example is of the hippies becoming happies. How come hippies who are into marijuana, LSD, illicit sex, rock and roll, now they are becoming a hardcore spiritualist? What a diametrically opposite transformation. Wow. But how did this happen? A great saint from India, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, an ambassador of Vedic culture, Indian culture, Bhakti culture, he went to USA, fed them with prasadam, sanctified food. He gave them his elderly, his warm, his sublime, his spiritual, wisdomful association. He gave them the holy name. And those hippies who were living absolutely dirty, stinky, directionless life, now they became so much substantial, so much meaningful, so much purposeful in their life. How come this happened? Because of the association. Earlier people used to go they would walk for kilometers for good association. So are we really seeking association rightly in our lives? We should seek ourselves. We should ask ourselves, are we seeking such association? We don't seek such association. And that's why there's no change of desires, there's no change of aptitude. We become desperate for something when there is association. When desires become very concentrated, it becomes desperation. And from desperation comes determination. But from where would come desperation and determination? It comes from good association. Achhi sangati, we should have good association. So we should actually fix our calendar. Okay, take out calendar. On such and such day, I am just going for good association. Yes, I am going to a such and such temple. Okay, I'll listen to the holy name. Yes, we should book our calendars. We keep such association as a last priority. Time milega, to kar lenge. We'll have some time. We'll do. Yeah. But whom are we cheating? Whom are we bluffing? We are bluffing our own selves. For such self-development activities, we should book calendar. For everything else, we book calendar, but not for this. How many of us book calendar to read? Many people, well, time milega to. But we'll have time, yeah, we'll read. So we should also book calendar for this. Just like for all of the meetings and obligations and duties, we book calendar. So we should also book calendar for this. And at that time when somebody is coming, we can say, well, at that time I'm going for good association. So I'll see you some other time. Can I meet you after 1 hour? Yeah, we should do that. Because we are not doing this. So that's why the change is not happening. And we are having this depression issues and anger issues. You see, there is not even a single case in entire history of creation, not even a single case study of somebody committing suicide being a spiritualist. Not even a single case of suicide. On the other hand, materialistic people, they keep committing suicide. Even from power industry, glamour industry. Arey, people come for selfies with you, Baba. They go for autographs. Why are you committing suicide? बस पता नहीं क्या है, मरना है. कहाँ है? Ganda brand phenyl. Wow. This is what they do. So that's why you see in the case of materialistic people, so many cases of suicide. In India nowadays, every 40 seconds, somebody commits suicide. Sorry, in the world, in every 40 seconds, somebody commits suicide. Every 40 seconds, you count 40 and somebody decides, well,
No,
in fact, the number of people committing suicide is twice the number of the people getting killed by somebody else. That means people are dying because of their own selves than somebody else. So that's why we have to give it a priority. Anything which will be given priority will have time. So there is no such thing as time management. It's all priority management.
Yesterday, in fact, we discovered, some of us discovered that India stands number 1 when it comes to young deaths, suicidal deaths,
yes, you are
and the
right.
youth.
Yeah.
And we are quite high in that number.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's happening?
It's happening because we are not catering to ourselves. We have all heard about Maslow's needs hierarchy.
Yes.
We have got physical needs, we have got mental needs, intellectual needs, egoistic needs. On the top there is one need which is always starving.
Self-actualization.
Self-actualization. So spirituality is our need. It's not a luxury. It's not a luxury. It is a need of the hour. And we fulfill all the needs. Mental needs, intellectual needs, egoistic needs. We do. But one need is not being fulfilled. So then people try to fill that vacuum of the need of self-actualization or spirituality with smoking, with drinking. कुछ है जो missing है. कुछ है. कुछ missing है. There is something missing. क्या करें? कोई बात नहीं. 2 पैक लगा ले सब ठीक हो जाएगा. This is how we are trying to fill that vacuum. That's why we see it is happening. So why we are dissatisfied? Because we are not taking care of one core need. It's a nucleus of all the needs. In an atom there is nucleus, made of protons and neutrons. Electrons, yeah, they're also part of the atom, but the nucleus is the main part. So among all the needs, spiritual need is the nucleus. We should fulfill other needs as well, no doubt. But if that need is starving, we cannot be happy. Even though we may have power, post, position, comforts, aristocracy, beauty, fame, whatever we think is happiness, we may have, but still we would not be happy. I know so many girls, they have done MBA from prestigious institutes, but they are lying down somewhere in darkness having drugs. Why? You are gold medalist, right? Yeah. I know so many boys, they have done their MBAs and BTechs and MTechs from prestigious institutes. But what they are doing now? They're living such dark lives. Why? Because that need is not being fulfilled. That need, we keep it for after retirement. Once we are retired, एक बार बच्चे बिहा लें, एक बार किश्तें चुका लें. Once we are done with this home loan, car loan, education loan, and then when I will be in my 60s, we will start feeling that need. And that's the reason we see that among the youngsters, we see that so many suicide cases, depression cases, it's happening. 29% of the youth in India currently is addicted to some kind of intoxication. 29%.
Which is a very big
Which
number.
is very big actually. So many youths, as well, crores of youths. Every year, $150 million are spent by India to export wine from outside. He said, हमारे यहाँ कम पड़ जाती है, थोड़ा आप भी भेजिए ना. That's what we are doing in India nowadays. Among the smokers, every day 8.2 cigarettes are smoked by the smokers. And we consider this progress. This Ashoka Chakra in our flag. And Ashoka Chakra signifies progress. This is our progress. But these are dark realities of our existence. We have to address them. If we don't address them, we will be living a very wishy-washy, on the surface, garnished kind of life. Yeah, it's good. Branded clothes, branded food, yay. Yeah, it is advancement. No, this is not advancement. Somebody who books food from an app, but after a few days commit suicide. What is this? Is this advancement? It's not. So we have to take care of that. And that's why youngsters nowadays we see they are depressed. अब होता क्या है ना, as soon as there's something missing and as soon as you give it, they take it so nicely. Just like a batsman is playing on 99, he's desperate for that one run. He's very desperate. Similarly, everything appears to be good in the life of youngsters, but one thing is missing. That one run is missing of spirituality. As soon as we expose it, they absorb it. But we have to give it. That's the thing, as a priority.
But how do I deal with fear? Fear of failure, fear of losing, because this fear ultimately pushes me to an edge where I may commit something wrong, something drastic and irreversible.
You know what's the full form of fear? FEAR, false evidence appearing real. That's fear. So most people are fearful of failures. फिर सबसे बड़ा है रोग, क्या कहेंगे लोग? What will people say? People say, oh, you are such a failure, you dumbo, you duffer. What will people say? I lose my value, no social status. That's the kind of thinking which runs fear. Failures. The kind of perception we have towards the failure, that's very important. In case we see failures as learning episodes, then we do not fear. या तो मैं जीतता हूँ या मैं हारता हूँ, नहीं, या मैं जीतता हूँ या मैं सीखता हूँ. पर मैं सीखता किसमें हूँ? Where do I learn? I learn from failures. All those who are great teachers, they have seen failures. So we should not be afraid of failures. हम सीखेंगे ना? गलती करेंगे? Why not? Like when we try to learn bicycle, we make mistakes, we fall down so many times, we get injured, but then we become expert as well. Like in the beginning, there can be some kind of difficulty, but yes, as we keep doing it, then we can conquer this fear very easily. And we should ultimately know that ultimately I am protected by the Lord. Why not? Yes. God protects everyone. Sometimes we are fearful of our existence. अगर ऐसा हो गया, then who will take care of us? Excuse me. In the year 2008, 5 crore jobs got dissolved. The year 2008. Why? Because of recession. So 5 crore families died? No. They survived. So yen kain prakar and somehow or other, we are there taken care of by the Lord. Lord even feeds an atheist. Why not a devotee of the Lord? Why not? An elephant eats 50 kilogram every day. His wife also eats 50 kilogram. You know, equal rights. So yeah, they have got 4 children, 25 kilogram. So every day, elephant's family eats 200 kilograms of food. So they have done their MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, Narsimunji. Because you know, every day 200 kilograms. Who is feeding? So God makes arrangement for the ant as well as for the elephant. कहते हैं ना, हाथी को मन भर देता है, चींटी को कण भर देता है, वो दयानिधि सबकी सुधि लेता है. So why do fear? Amogh Lila Das, I don't have a job, I don't have salary, I don't have bank account, I don't have wife, I don't have children to take care of me in my old age, I don't have home. So actually socially I'm dead. So who is taking care of me? Amogh Lila Das. I'm looking fine, huh? Am I looking starved?
No, you're looking quite handsome.
Quite handsome, yeah. So who is taking care of this person who is having no job, no home, no wife, no children, no family? Nothing. Of course, all of you are my family. Well, ultimately, I am being taken care of by whom? God is taking care of me. Everyone is taken care of by the Lord Himself. So one should have this feeling that ultimately the Lord is protector. He is my nourisher. We belong to His family. Because we have cut off this connection with our Supreme Spiritual Father. As Lord Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradapita, I am the seed Father of everyone. Sarva Yonishu. So because we have disconnected ourselves with Him, that's why we feel, Hamara kya hoga? What will happen to us? Just like a child who has left his father, now he's there on the roads. You will feel fearful, Mera kya hoga? Are come to your father. Your father is a millionaire, billionaire. Then Pitaji ko sab kuch denge. Why not? So all the fears are conquered. And one more thing which can really help us conquer the fear is identity. Lord Krishna starts Bhagavad Gita with where He addresses identity. That you are not the body, you are soul. Just do this meditation. I am a soul. I cannot be cut. I cannot be destroyed. I cannot be drowned. I cannot be burnt. I am eternal. I am birthless. I am deathless. There is no old age to me. There is no disease to me. I am soul. That makes us feel strong. Now you think yourself as a body. I am body. Anybody can cut me. Anybody can drown me. Anybody can burn me. I have got a birth. I have got a death. I have got old age. I have got disease. I'm the body. Right, everybody? You feel miserable actually, right? So thinking ourselves as body makes us more fearful. Thinking ourselves as soul, in which we actually are, you become fearless. That yes, this is just a cloth, protein made cloth. If something happens to this cloth, I'll get a new cloth. Are you worried about cloth? Yeah, well, we change cloth. रात को हो and night dress पहन लेंगे. सुबह का हम कल नई साड़ी पहनेंगे. Are you fearful of changing dress? No. So similarly, when Lord Krishna says in the Gita, well, I'm not body. We are not the body. We are soul. So then you become fearless. Yes, this sense of identity. We have to address this identity, because from identity comes everything. From identity comes perceptions. From identity comes value system. From identity comes the goal of life. Life becomes meaningful because of identity. Just like in mathematical problem, in first line if I make a mistake, say for example outside the bracket there is minus, and when I open the bracket, so all the signs inside the bracket should change because there is minus outside. But I did not change the sign. I made a mistake in first line. So after that, if I apply differentiation, integration, complex numbers, trigonometry, फलाना ढिमका सब, आंसर राइट या गलत? गलत. सर पहली लाइन में गलती कर दी ना आपने. नीचे आप differentiation, integration जो लगाना लगा लो. You will have a wrong answer. So when the identity is not set, उसके नीचे whatever we will do, it will be meaningless. So we have to address this identity that I am not the body. I live in this body. Just like we are not the room, we are sitting inside the room. So we are not the body. I am a soul. And I am eternal servant of my Lord, as Lord Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. Once your identity is set, you are fearless. So we are to address this aspect of fear at its root. Just by saying, don't be fearful. Come on, man. Come on. This kind of mundane motivation is ultimately not going to be fruitful. We have to go deep into the identity. So addressing a problem on surface is like you are having a pimple and you apply clean and clear. Pimple का है, फिर यहाँ से निकला है, oh, ultra cleansing. फिर यहाँ से निकला, oh. Is that a solution? Ultra cleansing, clean and clear? No. If you go to Ayurvedic doctor, आपका खून गंदा है, खून साफ करिए अपना. You have to go for blood purification. Go and drink safi, हमदर्द की safi. Go and drink neem ka juice. So then blood purification happens by neem juice, by taking safi. Blood purifies. Blood purifies and pimples are gone. So that kind of solution is required. Attacking the root. So this kind of mundane motivation. Don't be fearful, guys. You can do it. Yay! So as a motivational speaker says, they come drinking 2 glasses of Glucon-D and delivering a speech, but it doesn't carry any substance. We have to attack the root. Set the identity right, and then everything is wonderful.
Well, I will try to drink Safi more often.
You don't have any members.
Thank you so much. Perhaps that's the makeup. Well, we also constantly seek recognition.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something, I want people to notice.
Yes.
I want acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I want appreciation. And if I'm not getting it, there goes my motivation. And if I'm getting it, there goes my motivation.
Yes.
How do I balance this?
Well, in case we are dependent on the external source of motivation, your life would always be miserable. Because when we see somebody happy, somebody progressing, somebody successful, somebody touching skies, we feel envious and jealous. Yes. Enviousness and jealousy, they are brother sister. Yeah. So that's why we expect others will appreciate me. How many likes do I have in my YouTube video? How many dislikes? Has anybody positively commented or not? Why this person is not accepting my friend's request? This format of life is bound to make us miserable, because we are so much dependent on the external sources of motivation. Who motivates us? Everyone is so morose, so much low in energy. So how can 2 beggars loot each other and become millionaire? Is it possible? So सब बेचारे ऐसे ही हैं. Low energy वाले के पास गया, मेरे को एनर्जी चाहिए. क्या तू मेरे को दे, मैं तेरे को देता हूँ. कैसे देंगे भाई? So that's why we have to connect to ultimate source of energy, the supreme energetic God. So we have to do that. So that's why we see this world when we are seeking this recognition. Somewhere we see that identity is empty. So then we say, थोड़ा भर दोगे, मेरा गिलास खाली है, मेरे को थोड़ा, कहते हैं हम तुम्हारा क्या जी, हमारा गिलास भी खाली है. So इस तरह से, so we cannot really be satisfied when we seek recognition from others. So we are to fill our own selves. More we are filled within ourselves, especially spiritually, then we are not dependent on anyone. Like they are saying, those who do not have spiritual substance in their heart, they remain slaves of their surroundings. So we remain slaves of our surroundings. Why? Because we are not having spiritual substance. So spiritual substance makes you satisfied. And those who are satisfied, they can contribute. Those who are satisfied, they can inspire. Because they are satisfied. Like you see nowadays leaders, they are not satisfied. And they are there on the top ladder hierarchy of management hierarchy. So that's why in management we say the shit flows from the top. Because the top there is a guy who is frustrated. He is also seeking recognition. So in this way the shit flows from the top. But the good news is that even nectar flows also from the top. So we have to make people filled in, substantial, and they are contributing, they are inspiring, they are collaborating, they are accommodating, they are forgiving. All of this naturally happens once you are internally stuffed. But nowadays what we are educated, hey, never settle. 1+. Never settle. No, Baba, we have to settle. Then we can progress. If you will not settle, how can you progress? So 3 places we should be satisfied, 3 places we should never be satisfied. 3 places where Chanakya Pandit says we should be satisfied. Is spouse, we should be satisfied. जा रहे यार, कौन मिल गया यार? थोड़ा इंतजार कर लेते, अच्छा मॉडल मिल जाता बाबा. No. Spouse, satisfied. Okay, this is my karma, happy. With food, satisfied. With earnings, we should be satisfied. In 3 places, never be satisfied. In knowledge, never be satisfied. I wish I could know more. I wish I could know more. In charity, never be satisfied. I wish I could give more. I wish I could give more. And in chanting the names of the Lord, never be satisfied. I wish I could chant the holy name of Krishna more. I wish I could do it more. Never be satisfied in chanting the names of the Lord. So there are places to invest satisfaction, and there are places where we have to invest dissatisfaction. Never be satisfied. So when we invest wisely and rightly, then we are actually satisfied.
But while I'm doing all this, and one book which you mentioned, we must indulge reading Gita. What from Gita can I impart to my students to lead a little simple and healthier life?
Okay, Bhagavad Gita is a compendium. It's an encyclopedia. It has got everything for you. In chapter 17, Lord Krishna also speaks about speech. Anudvegam karam vakyam. That how we should speak. Anudvegam. We should not be agitating. Satyam priyam hitam chayat. It should be satyam. It should be truthful. It should be hitam. That means it should be beneficial. And it should be beneficial for the other person. And it should be palatable as well. Okay. And how do these 4 qualities come? By reading the scriptures. Swadhyayam. So Lord Krishna speaks about the austerity of speech. He also speaks about the austerity of body, that should be clean, and there should be respect shown to the teachers, respect shown to the parents, the gurus, the guardians. That's austerity of the body. Austerity of the mind is also given. Satisfaction, not being greedy. So austerity of the mind is also being given. How to be a good leader is also being given in chapter 3, verse 21. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tattate vitarojanaha. Whatever great men do, common men follow. That means doing is more important. What do they do? So about leadership is also there in the Bhagavad Gita. How to conquer oneself, that's also there in the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna says that my mind is too restless, so we have to take care of the mind. Especially Bhagavad Gita talks about the soul and the mind. Why? Because this rascal mind makes our life hellish. So we have to take care of the mind as well. That's why we say mind your own business. Because mind plays such a vital role in our lives. So Lord Krishna also addresses the mind. And he also talks about how to revive our love for him. So all of this in very beautiful, detailed fashion, in such a question answer format given in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is representing us. And Lord Krishna is addressing, he is giving all the answers. Just like during COVID, a reporter may go and say, Sir, COVID phala hua hai. What are the precautions we should take? Not that he is having COVID. But on the behalf of the general masses, he is asking from the doctor. So Arjuna is a reporter. Lord Krishna is the doctor. He says, okay, sir, people are miserable in this world. So Krishna, their minds are miserable. So what do you have to say about that? And then the Lord Krishna said, that is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad is God, Gita is song. So God sang a song. And that is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad Gita basically.
Wow.
So songs of Hollywood, Bollywood, Hollywood, Tollywood may or may not help you, but Krishna word will certainly help you.
I think it will all make sense when we look at the connections and how beautifully you have connected some very core principles that one must follow in life. It has started making so much sense. And I'm sure the audience here would try and relook and introspect into few changes that perhaps we need to start. Let's start with ABCD.
Oh, yes.
And
Perfect.
maybe our life changes for the better. Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was really enlightening and very, very powerful what you spoke. We are truly indebted for these wonderful words. Thank you so much. On behalf of everybody, I'm truly grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.